You've heard the Obscene Podzeen. Well, now you are listening to Podzeen Tour Thing.
All right, welcome. Come one, come all. Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby.
Featuring Frankie T and Danger Remington Dorchester.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome to everybody who's listening, all of you Podzeners out there. This is, of course, Tour Thing.
Welcome.
You clicked on the link, so you should know what you're listening to, I would hope. Unless you're on a lot of drugs right now, and sometimes I would not be surprised if the Podzeners were doing a lot of drugs. But, that's just neither here nor there.
Yeah, and people do click on the wrong things from time to time.
I guess that's true. That's true.
Can't give people too much credit.
So we got called out, or I specifically got called out on last week's episode of the Podzeen proper because I said something positive about David Draymond and or Disturbed.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Scotty Jam Jam took a little issue with that. And I issued the correction on the Podzeen episode. I wasn't necessarily saying Disturbed is good music when I said that they're going strong. Just because a band is selling albums does not mean they are quality music. Though David Draymond does have a good voice.
That's been demonstrated for a long time.
Exactly. I do stand by the statement, though, that David Draymond has a really good voice. He just chooses to make subpar music with that really good voice. So...
don't get me wrong. Some of the best singers in the music industry are pop singers.
It's true. And there's nothing wrong with that. Justin Timberlake puts out some quality shit, man.
And I don't think he's really much of I don't know. He's a pop star, but he does what he wants.
It's true.
He's no longer a puppet.
Yeah. I
like
feel
the Lonely Island Boys stuff that he, some of the comedy stuff he does.
Yes.
That is, oh man, that's over the top. I love it.
That's some quality shit right there is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, Dick in a Box, it doesn't get much better than that.
Right? Or Mother Lover? I mean, come on.
Oh, man. I'm on a boat. Like, the list goes on and on.
No, I'm on a boat.
They don't have a greatest hits.
Was T-Pain. That wasn't Justin Timberlake. That was T-Pain with Lonely Island.
Are you sure?
It might. I know it wasn't Justin Timberlake. I could have the artist wrong.
I think you're right. I think you're right. But still, Lonely Island.
Yeah, for sure. Their first two records were fantastic. The third one was it was all right.
Yeah.
Starting off, the first section, as per usual, is current tours, things that are we're excited for or that we feel are noteworthy. My first one is one I really can't believe I didn't touch on this one last week because I keep getting freaking Facebook announcements about it. It's Municipal Waste. Have you ever heard of this band, Municipal Waste?
No.
They are a bunch of kids. They're all probably a year or two younger than AB, and they play like straight up 80s thrash. And like total punk rock ethos about it and total decadence and all of the overindulgence and all that stuff that comes with what you would expect an 80s thrash band to do. Yeah. So they're not bad. They're not definitely not the greatest band, but the reason I feel like this is noteworthy is because they're headlining and High on Fire is their support, along with a band called Toxic Holocaust, who's mediocre, and Haunt, who I've never heard of. But High on Fire is like one of the most prolific metal bands, like straight through and through metal bands, no subgenre applicable. They are the heir to the Lemmy throne, effectively. Their lead guitar player slash vocalist is a guy named Matt Pike, who, if you close your eyes and you're kind of sick that day, you would confuse him for Lemmy. He sound like their sound is very Motorhead.
Oh, cool.
So it's just really interesting because they've been around forever. Like Matt Pike was in a doom metal band years and years ago. They still put out records every now and then called Sleep. But High on Fire started, if I'm remembering correctly, and I can pull up the Googles to double check, but I'm pretty sure they started in like the late 80s to the early 90s, somewhere in that neighborhood. And Municipal Waste has only been around since the early 2000s.
Oh, wow.
So like a bunch of kids and these seasoned vets opening for him. And like, I've heard stuff from High on Fire more recently than I have Municipal Waste. I didn't even know Municipal Waste was still a band. So it's just very strange to me that it would be that direction and not High on Fire headlining the tour. But, that's just me. Yeah, 98. I guess I was off by about 5 years. But, yeah, 98 was when High on Fire came around.
Nice.
So yeah, that's I got a couple. Do you have any tours that you have heard of this week that you're excited for and or think are interesting combination of bands?
Well, I know the Dean Ween group has been hitting it pretty good. They went down into California and going all over. Those guys are always having a good time.
So
just got to plug my boys there.
Yeah, for sure. When it's just Diener by himself, you don't go out with them as much.
No, it's a smaller tour, but they usually have our guitar tech, Gabe. He'll go out, he'll set up the stage, and then run sound with kind of one-man wrecking ball. It's
a pretty skeleton crew then.
It most definitely is.
That's I appreciate when somebody with that kind of clout like Dean Ween can do something like that. You know what I mean? Like isn't above like playing small bars with just one extra person on the crew. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and that's his kind of, that's his thing on the side, and he's not big enough to go play Red Rocks on his own. So when he comes through,
but
he's playing the Fox or well, yeah, exactly. So
that's pretty cool, though.
It can't afford the same personnel.
That's true.
People often forget how expensive it is to actually put a production on the road. All the hotel rooms and logistics. Oh, dude, the expenses get piled up and up.
I just, not just, it was a few months back at this point. I interviewed, for the Nerdy podcast, I interviewed the keyboard player and now apparently DJ and stuff too for Mushroomhead. And we talked for a minute about how people just assume, well, you're in a nationally known touring band, you put out records, you were signed to a major label for a while, so you must be a millionaire. And so we talked a minute about that and kind of deconstructing how that is absolutely not the case. because just the tour bus alone is half of your tour cost. So because you don't want to buy that damn thing.
Some people own them.
Yeah, some people do, but
Taylor Swift owns all her own tour buses and semi-trucks.
That's a little different. That's kind of a different scale entirely.
Zach Brown, how about that? He's an independent artist. Zach Brown owns all his.
Zach Brown's an independent? I thought he was on a major for sure.
No, he was like the first independent that went platinum, I believe.
No shit.
Or maybe Annie DeFranco did it.
I don't know if Annie DeFranco ever went platinum. The first independent country to go platinum, maybe, because I know.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, he's definitely his own beast.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't realize. So what I've got, at least from metal performers like Mushroomhead and back in the day when I was palling around with a buddy of mine who used to write for a magazine. So we got into all kinds of shows for free and got to talk to bands. We interviewed a band called Shadows Fall. Any metalheads from the early aughts will remember Shadows Fall. They went on tour with Killswitch and Lamb of God all the damn time. Literally the first 3 times I saw Killswitch engage, they were also playing with Shadows Fall, and 2 of those 3 times was also with Lamb of God. So yeah. But we were talking to Brian, the lead singer for Shadows Fall, and he was like, it's career suicide when you're at the level they were at the time, because they were still playing like the Aggie and shit. It's career suicide to buy your bus unless you have a couple of gold records under your belt, because when it breaks down,
renting it to other people.
Well, but when it breaks down,
if you keep it working in between tours, like when you're in the studio, that's how you turn it into an investment,
right?
Make money for you.
Right. But it breaks down. You're the one that has to pay to get it replaced. You can't just call up the rental agency and be like, yo, your bus fucked up. We need a new one. And they send you one within the hour. If something happens, you're stuck in that town trying to pay to get it fixed.
Yeah.
So lower level bands generally rent, but Zach Brown is also not lower level, even though he's independent, which I again didn't realize, but that's still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on to other tours.
Yeah. Another tour that's going to be kicking up here in a month or so is Death from Above 1979.
Ooh, I actually saw that one. I didn't write it in my notes, but I saw that one.
Yeah, those guys they put on a killer show. Their last album was good.
Yeah. What kind of music is it?
Oh, it's just good not old fashioned rock and roll. It's definitely heavier stuff. I got introduced to them at Lollapalooza.
Oh, wow, nice.
Years ago. Yeah. And when they started playing, and I was standing next to Dave Drywitz, and our eyes just like went open. We're like, who the hell is that? They just started with this like death scream, like,
nice.
Full band coming in right away. It was a nice, calm little afternoon in Chicago, and then all of a sudden this just ripped out of nowhere, and we're like, holy shit. They were on the other stage, and we were just setting up.
And you're setting up, and then your ears perked up, it sounds like.
We're like, who is that?
What is going on over there?
Yeah.
That's really cool. So my next one also starts about halfway through next month, I believe, is Gwar is going on tour. They are heading out with Hatebreed as their co-headliners.
Hatebreed.
Yes. You don't know Hatebreed. I would imagine you know Gwar.
I do know Gwar. Yes.
Now that Zach Brocky is gone, they have a new vocalist. Let me pull that up too. But I just watched a TED Talk with their new vocalist, which is very weird.
Huh. He did his own TED Talk, or he was a guest on the TED Talk?
Not as the character, but it was about Gwar. And it was about their formation because Gwar is a art blah, blah, blah. First day with the new tongue. I'm sorry. Gwar is an artistic collective. It's not just the set members necessarily. Like there's a core group of members, but all of the periphery is fairly interchangeable with their local scene from Richmond, Virginia.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that until yesterday. Or 2 days ago, I guess.
Yeah.
So doodly-doo, where is it? Death of Dave Brocky, the new guy. Oh, come on. Where's the freaking his name? There it is. I just scrolled past it. The new vocalist.
Get it together, man.
I'm sorry. Is Michael Bishop, who is an anthropologist and actually apparently played bass with them for a while, according to the Wikipedia entry anyway. But he's their vocalist now. I don't know what his stage name is. Let's see if I can... Nope, it's not good. I'm not going to find it anytime soon. This has gone on long enough. No, but so yeah, now that Dave Brocky's dead, unfortunately... so Odorous Arungus, their longtime vocalist, since their inception, they got this new guy, and actually the new guy's not bad. He's no Brocky, that's for sure. He doesn't have the same kind of range, but he definitely has the attitude and the character down. They've done some stuff promoting the fact that they're still around, and now obviously they're going on tour. But the most
that's a big part of it. Still, just like keeping that vibe, you know.
Keeping
having the same attitude,
keeping the fans expecting the gallons of fake blood at shows. I've seen Gwar go on tour with like Lamb of God. I've seen Gwar go on tour with Megadeth, which, those are slightly expected. I've even seen Gwar go on tour with the Aquabats, but back when they had like 2 records where they had that kind of ska sound. That was back third wave of ska, like the mid 90s, about that time. And apparently they ate the Aquabats. One of their monsters ate the Aquabats every night on stage, which is, wow. I wish I could have been there for that. That would have been so awesome.
That would have been pretty rad.
But now they're going on tour with a hardcore band. I feel like that's an interesting juxtaposition of sounds. Yes, they're both aggressive, but Gwar is so cartoony and like theatrical, and hardcore is not a genre that you would necessarily pair as such. You know what I mean? That just seemed very interesting.
Yeah, but that's, part of the appeal is that they are different. You don't want 2 bands sounding the same playing. I don't know. Some promoters book shows like that. That's definitely what a lot of pop acts are doing, and that's how pop is perpetuated. But if you look at and also a lot of metal fans, metal's not all they listen to.
It's true. That's it. I again talked about that on the Nerdy podcast a few weeks back about how I
found metal fans way more that have, generally far more diverse tastes in music than country fans or pop fans or hip hop fans. Because a lot of those, when you really like that genre, that's kind of all you listen to.
Right.
It's like Grateful Dead fans only listening to the Grateful Dead.
And maybe Fish occasionally.
Yeah. Well, Fish fans will occasionally listen to the Grateful Dead, I think.
I really dig that. I wish I could make it to that show, but I can't. It's kicking. Actually, no, it's already, the tour is happening now. It kicked off this week, actually. They're in Colorado, though, on the 10th of next month, and I was just kind of bummed I couldn't make it, because I've never seen Gwar live aside from videos and, re-accounts from friends who have gone to see them. And apparently it's a hell of a live show.
Yeah.
Monsters and things on stage, and just crazy.
I've only seen the venue right afterwards when it's all trash.
Yeah. All trashed and covered in gallons of fake blood. That's how that goes.
Well, they wrap up everything. All the speakers and stuff are wrapped in plastic. They're really good about being respectful and trying to cover literally everything up. Right. They're a lot better about it than ICP is with their Faygo.
Do they just dump that shit on the ground? All that sugar
Faygo?
water?
Are you talking about ICP? Yeah. They spray it all over the crowd and shit like that. That's a part of the appeal, I guess. That's so that juggalo scene. Is like
I want to get covered in sugar.
They go and buy like a new, $50 T-shirt at merch, and then they go and get it all torn up in a pit and get sprayed with Faygo all over it. The more Faygo you have, and like that's their memorabilia from the show, and they buy it. That's why ICPs continue to do so well, is because their fans buy a new shirt for every show, and they go and fuck it up, and they never wash it. And that's like their thing.
They try and get it covered with as much Faygo as possible so that it's preserved.
Yeah, and then they'll go home and hang it on the wall.
they just stick it to the wall.
Yeah, exactly. It hangs itself.
All the sugar water just keeps it there.
Yeah.
Just dries into this crusty thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting culture. That could be its own podcast altogether.
God, yeah. I worked at Hot Topic for a year.
I'm sorry.
That could totally be its own show, dude. Those hockey jerseys that they sell, the Hatchet Man hockey jerseys, the Psychopathic Records, at Hot Topic, they're $80. I can only imagine what they are at the show.
Jeez. Oh man.
Yeah, they were $80. What, like 15 years ago even? So
yeah, it's probably 200 now.
Oh my god,
the price of the dollar these days. Oh man,
it's worthless. I had two other ones, but I feel like we've gotten the other two tours that I have in my notes don't start until the end of next month, so we can hold back until next week to talk about those. I feel like we've got this section pretty hard under wraps. We can move on to the next one, which is Life of a Roadie, sir. This week's Life of a Roadie topic is a show where everything broke. Again, they don't necessarily, when I ask you these questions, they don't necessarily have to be with Ween or with String Cheese, but I just kind of assume they're going to be because that's the breadth of your experience as a roadie.
Yeah, well, I've also spent a lot of time as a audio engineer touring around with various acts.
That is true as well. So, a show where everything broke.
Where everything not necessarily broke, but shit was just fucked.
Right, that's kind of the idea, yeah.
Oh, there's this one tour where myself and the other sound guy, we were driving a box truck full of audio gear from stop to stop. We were doing a full national tour, and it was the couch tour for Zoomies at Skateboard Shop.
Oh, yeah. I've had a
fun little tour.
I had a few friends who were managers at Zoomies, and they got to go to a few couch tours. Yeah, I've heard that's quite the thing to attend.
Oh yeah, I've done like 70 some of them. It's ridiculous. But
holy shit!
No, I went to I went to jail for a night on there. I don't think they ever found out, but yeah, we got busted with weed at a random pullover stop on I-10 outside of Odessa, Texas.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, they got out of jail and they had us. They told us the impound where our truck was. We walked all the way across town to get there, and of course, nope, it was at a different impound. Luckily, there's this guy, probably 400 pounds, Billy Bob, bless his heart. He's nicest dude we met in Odessa, that's for sure. He called around to the other impounds and found out where our truck was and gave us a ride over there. You know, we threw him a 20 spot, like all the cash we had on us.
Nice. Got
in the truck and drove through the night to straight into load-in in Dallas.
Damn.
Yeah.
You had to be fucking beat.
Oh, yeah. I went straight we were 10 miles from our hotel we were going to stay at, and we got, they sent a dog around. It was ridiculous. They had mechanics under the trucks. They made us turn it off right away. There was sheriffs at both sides. They were looking for something. I don't know. It was on I-10, so I can only imagine they were looking for illegal immigrants.
That or that they're just fucking bored ass Texas cops looking for something to do, and they see an out-of-state plate and go, "Hey, let's go fuck with these guys."
No, man, we were in a Penske truck. It's like
so. Was it a local Texas plate then?
No. We had rented all the Penske trucks have Indiana plates.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because that's where their headquarters is out of. But so that was a time where everything wasn't necessarily broken, but shit was fucked. Oh yeah, there's all types of stuff like that. There's another time I was doing a show. Up in this is with the North Mississippi All Stars.
Right.
We were up in where were we? Snowmass. Yeah, up near Aspen. And the generator we were mid mountain on the ski hill, about 6-7 at night. The sun was going down. It's getting colder and colder. And the generator got carbon lock and just started spitting these huge chunks of black just carbon out of the exhaust, spitting it in the air all over the place.
Shit.
And then we had no power and we had to load out mid-mountain with headlamps. All the heaters went down. We had to take down a stage and full PA, band gear after 3 songs.
Oh,
so literally everything was fucked because of the generator. Nothing else would work. I think the drummer did a 10-minute solo. His tech had 2 flashlights behind him, did a little lighting show for him.
Hey man, the show must go on, right?
Yeah, and the audience just kind of scattered. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
Oh man. That's definitely a show where everything broke. Holy shit, that sucks.
Yeah, there's been other times just close calls. There was a time we were taking this is for a Dave Mason show. Remember that guy?
Vaguely.
Here, a little interesting fact about Dave Mason. He's the only other guitar player to be recorded on a Jimi Hendrix album.
Oh.
All the guitars on Jimmy's albums are all his, except for Dave Mason.
Wow.
Guitarist to track on a Jimi Hendrix album.
Well, you learned something, Podzeners. That's
how about that?
Cool.
So we're doing a show with him up in Aspen at the base of the gondola they have there, and it's at the top of this, flight of 2 stairs, and we have to get a stage up there. So we hooked it up to a snowcat in the middle of the night and dragged it in through one of the what do you call them? The catwalks.
Yeah.
On the ski hill. And part of the snow gave way and the stage fell and was just like resting on these flimsy little evergreens at about a 45-degree angle above these multi-million-dollar condos. I mean, steep slope going in.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And the cat driver he is just cool as could be. Didn't even break a sweat. He just kind of like readjusted it and pulled it out of there. No problem. Did that good old-fashioned time-tested pull-out method, and it worked.
Wow. You don't often hear that works.
Yeah. We put the stage in, and then we had the issue of, oh crap, the generator got dropped off here on the street to get up to the stage. This was the same show. And there was a condo being built next door, a big construction site, and the foreman had walked over and he was talking with us. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? What do you got going on here?" "Yeah, I saw this generator show up. I thought it was for us." And I realized that, there's a stage up there. And hey, who's playing? He was asking questions and told him what we were doing. And then we were trying to figure out how to get this generator up there. He's like, "Oh, I got this crane." And the crane operator. He's like, "Hey, you got time I want you to get this generator right here. You see me standing over here on the street?" He's waving his hand to the lift off and talking with him on radio. He's like, "Yeah, and I want you to put it right up next to the stage." I put it 10 feet directly behind the stage and just craned it. Best part is the next night when we loaded out, there was no crane available. We just left the generator up there. So I have no idea how those guys got it back.
We didn't put this generator here. Let's just leave it, see what happens.
They're like, "How the hell did it get up there?" Like, "Well, how do we get it back?" Yeah. I wonder how long that stayed there before they figured it out.
They went and got their own little bobcats. And fuck it, let's just do this.
Yeah. Let's run some snowmobiles and see what we can do.
Oh God, that's good shit. Okay. Yeah. So that's Life of a Roadie. That I feel like is the best story you've had so far, sir. That's good shit.
Oh, thank you.
So next up, we're going to move into the struggle. Not my struggle, the struggle. It's different. So the struggle, if this is your first episode of Podzeen Tour Thing, is our experience as musicians and or as being in the audience going to shows. So today the struggle topic is most memorable show that we were performing our own music, not as Telepathic Sandwich, because we've only really had one opportunity as such. Otherwise we're just a studio band at the moment.
Yeah.
But if you want to go for it, dude. You said you had a good one for this, so.
Oh, for most memorable, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been
memorable does not necessarily mean good either.
No. I understand that. I would say, when I was 18, I did a performance. It was a talent show at my high school for seniors called Mr. Fort Collins High School.
Yeah.
Mr. FCHS, and there's a talent competition in there, and I had a video for my swimsuit competition that was deemed inappropriate just a couple of days out, so I had to think of a new bit for that whole thing.
Why was it deemed inappropriate?
Implied nudity. Not nudity, implied
nudity.
Yeah. So
were you wearing a flesh-colored Speedo or something?
No, it was I did some editing in post production and put a black box. And apparently that doesn't qualify as a swimsuit for the swimsuit competition.
Oh, come on. That would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been great. But yeah. So I was upset at the administration, and during the talent competition, I was just ripping, chords and just playing longer. I had a 5-minute limit. I think I played for 15. It was just pissing them off. It was memorable because I got a huge response from the crowd when I left. They were, in the wings, like, "Come on, time's up. Keep going."
If they'd have had a hook.
Yeah, and I kept acting like I was going to end and go into something else stupid. But it got a huge response from, 2,000 person auditorium there.
Nice.
Yeah.
You went to a pretty damn big high school, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
Fort Collins High?
There's about 1,800 kids in attendance for just 3 grades. It was, just sophomore, junior, senior.
Oh, that's right. Back then, huh?
Yeah, back then. They now have the full high school with the freshmen there. They went to middle school instead of junior high.
Yeah.
But they still have less students there. I think there's only 1,100 at that school now.
That's weird.
Because they've built 2 other high schools.
So my most memorable, I feel like I have 2. One of them is along the lines of show that everything broke. So in the early days of the metal band forever ago, we lived in Greeley, and there was this coffee shop downtown Greeley that all the reject kids went to hang out, called Higher Grounds.
Yeah.
It was a Christian coffee shop, so it was like, the local youth pastor was it was like an outreach to all the high school kids who were smoking a pack a day and listening to the heavy metal and all that stuff. And
yeah, it's like these goth kids are sucking down coffee anyway, so let's at least profit off it.
Exactly. So one of the guys
mask it, our faith charity. Go nonprofit coffee grounds.
One of the guys, right? One of the guys.
It's brilliant. I
know, right? Totally capitalism at work. Let's do this.
Brilliant businessman.
One of the guys there, when he was younger, one of the guys that ran the coffee shop, because it wasn't the church. The church that funded the coffee shop didn't. Like it wasn't their pastor. It was somebody that the youth pastor knew was the guy who was running it, I think, is how that relationship was. I don't know. Maybe Scott was a youth pastor and I just didn't realize it. I don't know. But Scott was a cool guy. And when he was younger,
some sort of relationship with the church.
Yeah, who had some sort of relationship with the church. I don't even know what church. Like, that's how fucking much attention I paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was when he was younger, and he was probably late 20s at this point. So I was, we were in high school, sophomore, junior, senior year. Scott had been in punk bands and stuff back in the day, so he tried to get bands to play at Higher Grounds as often as possible. But the thing about their regular space was that there was this pole right in the middle of the stage area, so there wasn't a whole lot of room to set shit up. But occasionally they would have shows. It just was kind of difficult. And then they had a back area too, which we tried to use once to record a demo, which did not go over well either. But this one particular show, it was a Halloween show. And when I first started this metal band with my buddies, we were all very into bands like Slipknot and Mudvayne and the like. So we either painted our faces, or we wore goofy costumes, or wore masks, just kind of depended on how we were feeling that night. And so it started off poorly, because for promotion, there were I got to lay this out slightly differently. In the band at the time, there were 6 of us. We had 2 guitars. I was playing bass. We had a vocalist, a drummer, and a keyboard / sample. And our keyboard player didn't know anything about keyboards. We would write a part.
He was just a dude that stood behind keyboards.
Pretty much. We would write a part, or we would create a sample and put it onto a CD, and I had this DJ CD player, so all he had to do was cue it up to the right track and press play for the sample, or play the 4-note keyboard line over and over and over and over again. So... Wow. Yeah, it was effective for what we needed at the time, I guess. So part of his character, his stage character...
I'm mildly offended as a keyboard player.
Well, it was definitely not...
Different time in music.
Great, exactly. I never said he was a good keyboard player.
Oh, no. It was never implied.
Yeah, so his stage character was that he was a robot we didn't ever lay it out this elaborately, but it was something akin to he was a robot that we built to do these two very specific things. So his costume very rarely changed. He always had a black ski mask, a big black leather coat, and then as much black as possible so he didn't look human. And in some of the pictures we took at the time, he was even wearing padding, so he looked bigger than he was, and it's just hilarious to look at these pictures. So he was really good friends with our vocalist. That's actually how he got into the band. Was, hey, we need somebody who can play these four notes. Oh, I know a guy, and our keyboard player was born. So they went to the mall to promote the day of the show in costume. I think this was 2001, maybe. So 2 years after Columbine, there's a guy in a big leather trench coat at the Greeley Mall handing out flyers. Didn't go over very well.
No, too soon, bro. Yeah. Too soon.
So they got kicked out of the mall.
Jesus.
And we saw this as funny, which it was, and also, because of our mindset at the time. Oh, this show's going to be so awesome. We're creating controversy, right?
Yeah.
So night of the show, we're the last band of the night, which at this point in any band's career, when you're the closer, that means everybody's leaving during your set, which we didn't realize at the time just yet, but we learned eventually. But we actually got most of the people to stick around and listen to us, so we were pretty stoked about it. And so 3 other bands had played this night, a pop punk band, another metal band, and I think the other one was a ska band, if I remember correctly. Which,
oh wow,
awesome lineup, and again, this is Halloween night. So,
hey, somebody just rang my doorbell.
Oh, go for it. Oh, all right. So, we're at the show. We're setting up. It's night of the show. Like I said, 3 other bands had played that night before we went on, and we get going. It's maybe not even halfway through the set yet, and we were playing for, I think, 45 minutes. So maybe 2 songs, 2.5 songs into the set, and the power blows. Because it's this really shitty old building, downtown Greeley, that can't handle, because, again, there's 6 of us in this band, so we're pulling a lot of power. Power blows. All the lights go out. We're in this fucking basement because that's where Higher Grounds was at the time. I don't know if it still exists. Last I knew, though, it had its own building.
Ironic name for a basement venue.
Right? So the power blows, and one of the guys, not the guy that put on the show, but one of the other ones that usually worked the place, finds a breaker, gets a flashlight, finds a power box, and throws a breaker, and so we get going. And literally a minute after we start playing music again, we blow the same circuit again. And then so they flip it on. They unplug some other stuff because nobody needs a microwave when a show's going on, right? Because they're not really selling food, so they unplug some stuff. Hopefully that helps. It did for about another song, maybe 2 songs, and then we throw it again. And I shit you not, I hear the other guy's girlfriend, because the other guy is super like Bible thumping, God is good, you are bad kind of person, and his girlfriend is even worse. She goes, I knew it. We should have never had these devil worshiping metalheads play at our venue. This is a sign from God. They shouldn't be playing. So he kills the rest of the show. We were the last band we got to play. I think we got through about 5 songs out of maybe a 10-song set. And they killed our set. Oh, I was so grumpy at that point. And to hear her say that like, you don't know us, like, just because you don't like the music we play, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my big one, but the other one's really funny, and it's a much shorter story. This is a few years.
Does this not involve like a bathroom break and
yes, and
hold on, let me unload a truck break?
Gear, yeah, gear getting dropped off. So
some fun editing,
right? Oh, it'll be fine because it's just a big chunk of nothing, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably 2006. The band, the metal band, was going pretty well at the time. We were really gearing up for some really great stuff that was about to come our way, and this was kind of the time that it was like right before all of the things start going the way we need them to. And this has absolutely nothing to do with the actual show, aside from the fact that the promoter for this venue that this little festival was at, I booked 3 shows through this cat and then refused. And he was kind of known in the Colorado metal community as being a shit promoter after this happened to us. But so we always, promoter tells us to be there at noon. We're there at noon. Actually, probably more like quarter till noon, because that's just the way you are when you're a professional fucking band.
Yeah.
So he doesn't show up.
Professional in general.
Right? He doesn't show up, so we get there to the club that this show is at, and nobody's there. He shows up about an hour after the bar opened at 1. So we've been sitting here for almost 4 hours at this point. He gets there and goes, what time did you guys get there? Noon, dude, because you told us to be here at noon. We were here early even. He goes, oh, well, I just assume when I tell a band to be here at noon, they won't be here until 3. Well, then say 3 o'clock. It doesn't make any sense. So it's,
wow,
again,
that's some new math right there.
Right? So again, starts off on a fantastic foot. We play the show, we do really well. I was super, super happy with the lineup at the time. Everyone that was in the band was above and beyond, except for maybe our drummer. He was probably not the best drummer I could have had, but he was solid, and he knew the material, and I'd known him for years, and we were good friends, and I think I might have tried to hook up with his little sister at one point, but whatever. So
that's another podcast.
That's a whole nother episode. But so yeah, we did fine.
Little sister.
We did fine. Sorry. The show went off fairly well. Nobody showed up because, again, this promoter was a joke. Not even for like the band, because we were one of the earlier bands in the day, and it was an all day, well, most of the day thing, because we started at like 4:00. Yeah. But yeah, so not a whole lot of people showed up even at the end of the night, when it's like, well, the bar crowd should be showing up now. So the promoter just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But so, like I said, it's most of the day thing. By the time the rest of the bands got there, we had already finished playing. And then I think one or two other bands had already finished playing, but we knew a couple of the bands that were going to be playing later that night. So we were sticking around. Now, at this time in my life, I am not a drinker. I've never been one to imbibe in much. These days, I do enjoy beer and some alcohol from time to time, but that's about the extent of my debauchery.
Yeah,
that's about as crazy as I get. As you know, every time we have rehearsal and such, you guys pass around the pipe.
Yeah, and business before pleasure.
Yeah. So I was the only one in the band. I didn't even drink at this point in my life. I just didn't see the point in it. I didn't like any kinds of alcohol at the time. So just, why would I drink something that doesn't taste good to me? But everyone else, again, there's 6 of us at this point. There's 6 of us, but the lineup is different. It's different music. It's an entirely different band, but that's, again, another story. So we get done, we unload, we put all of our gear back into the trailer, and we're just bullshitting with the other bands. Now, shortly before this, probably a month or two before this show, I had recently discovered Spike energy drinks.
Oof.
And so I was a caffeine junkie. That was my drug of choice. And Spike is definitely the drink you drink when you're looking for caffeine.
Yeah, it sounds like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a name for a vicious pit bull.
Oh man, it's so, yeah. It's an 8-ounce.
Wasn't Spike the name of the pit bull on like Tom and Jerry?
Yes, I think it was.
Or was that a bulldog?
Bulldog, yeah, not pit bull, bulldog. But still, his name was Spike.
Yeah, it was Spike. Yeah, big old mean dog.
In the Tom and Jerry Kids, it was Spike and Ike were the 2 bulldogs. Anyway.
Yeah. Nice.
Spike
nice
and Ike, Droopy and Triple. Yeah, I watched a lot of cartoons as a kid. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we're bullshitting with all the other bands.
There.
I had bought, because I was working crazy hours managing a Journey store at the time, I had bought a 4-pack of Spikes and had intended for them to last me a couple of days, because on the side of the can it says not to exceed 1 can in a day. I had done that once before this, but it's not recommended, even from somebody
who's... Jolt Cola?
Oh, dude, it's so much worse than Jolts. It, like, the 8-ounce version of Spike has yohimbe root in it, which is a crazy stimulant. Wow. And so, like, it's the only energy drink that gives me the jitters, and only the 8-ounce
It's like Four Loko for kids.
Yeah, kind of. Only no alcohol.
Yeah, I know, but... Yeah, all the crazy,
legit,
all the loco.
Yeah, all of the loco. So, my bass player, because I had moved to guitar by this point, my bass player was a bit of an instigator, and he saw that I had a 4-pack of the Spike, and I showed him the can, because the can is kind of a thing, because there's like 4 different warning labels and stuff, because it's intense shit. And he goes, I dare you to drink 2 of them. Because I drank one on the way up to the show. And I was like, I'm not going to drink another one because I'm good for a few hours. I don't need any more. We're not going to be driving back. Maybe I'll drink another one when we drive back. He goes, no, you should drink it now. This is maybe an hour after I had finished the first one. And it takes 30 minutes to kind of hit your system. And then I would go on that.
And then 30 seconds to leave your system.
Yeah. Well, no, I would go on that caffeine high for... I would go on that caffeine high for probably a good 4 or 5 hours.
It's funny. It seems to only excite the prostate.
So he's like, I'll give you all the money in my wallet, which wasn't apparently very much. And I was like, I don't know about that, because it was like $5 or something. And then the other guitar player comes up to me, he goes, I'll chug this beer. He had a pitcher of beer. He goes, I'll chug this beer if you do that. So, okay, that's fine. Deal accepted, whatever. So I drink my other Spike. I chug it pretty quick, which is also not recommended with Spike because it will make lesser stomachs puke. So this happens. They get me to drink the 2 drinks, and I'm humming. I'm just vibrating at a completely different frequency. And about 30, 45 minutes after this happens, and the hum is going pretty visible at this point, I'm jumping from like 4 different conversations, and like obviously I have crazy amounts of stimulants in my system. And my bass player, for whatever reason, probably because he was smoking a bowl, is in his Jeep, which is just right across the parking lot from where we're all bullshitting.
Yeah.
And he gets out of his Jeep and starts walking towards me, like with this really weird look on his face. And he gets closer and he takes 2 very large, very fast steps, still probably 15 feet away from me. So there's no, like, even if he was mad at me, there's no real imminent danger just yet.
Yeah.
But I see him, and I like slow motion crumple onto the curb in front of this venue. And I am technically the only sober one, aside from the caffeine, the only sober one in my band. One of our vocalists, because we had 2 vocalists, one of our vocalists is passed out in our drummer's car because
you're curling up on the sidewalk from too much caffeine.
I curl up on the sidewalk, and the bouncer rather comes over me and goes, I'm going to need you to stand up, boss. I was like, I will. Just give me a second. Everything's kind of spinning right now. He goes, I really need you to stand up right now. And I was like, I'm going to stand up, dude. I just got to catch my breath. I've had a lot of caffeine. You don't know what's going on. I was like, I'm totally sober. You're not going to get in trouble. He goes, you might be sober, but the cops that drive by this area frequently aren't going to know that. So I'm going to need you to stand up, or I'm going to need you to leave.
Oh, man.
So the only sober guy in the band,
quickly,
right? The only sober guy in the band almost got removed from the venue for being intoxicated.
Being terrified. For being, overly stimulated to the point of,
Yeah, that was the first time I had ever actually had a proper caffeine high, which if you've never had a proper, like an actual caffeine high, you've just had a lot of caffeine. It's a very different feeling. Caffeine high makes, at least for me, makes me feel like I want to run like 20 fucking miles, or that I am actually running those miles because my legs tingle.
That's why I ran that marathon. Oh, yeah. I forgot. It must have been that 4th cup of coffee.
Dude, that 4th espresso just got me going.
Oh, dude. Pounding coffee, man. I love it. I still drink at least half a pot of coffee every day.
Seriously? Have you experienced the Nespresso machine?
Oh, yeah. That thing's brilliant. We have one of those our production assistant has on the road with with cheese. Yeah.
My girlfriend always...
I'll go make myself, a little shot of espresso, and then just throw it into a cup of black coffee. A little shot in the dark,
Yeah. Meg has one. Anytime we leave town, she's like, can we bring the Nespresso machine with us?
Some places call that a depth charge.
Yeah. That's a lot of caffeine, and this is coming from the guy who overamped on fucking Spike.
Yeah. I have an interesting, this is totally changing from a tour story podcast into a energy drink story. No, I did a drive straight through from the Outer Banks in North Carolina to all the way back to Colorado.
That's Collins. A fucking 3-day drive if you do it straight through.
Oh, we did it. It was my older brother and myself. And yeah, we did it in like 29 and a half hours, just under 30 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Just
that's
cranking
impressive.
Music. Yeah.
I lived in Georgia.
We were going to stop, but then we decided, hey, it was the energy drink Piranha.
I think I've had that one.
It existed for a short amount of time. I had a couple of cases given to me when I was a intern at a Clear Channel radio station when I was in high school, and went out to North Carolina doing some work out there in the summer and come back with my brother, and we pretty much put down our last case. That stuff coming back.
Wow.
And oh man, it lasted us a good 2.5 months though.
Right on.
But then I really haven't been able to drink energy drinks since. I was so jacked up that entire summer.
The thing that really kills it is all the sugar. Like I can deal with the caffeine usually.
Massive amounts, like 3,000 times the amount of B12 you need.
Yeah.
Abundant amounts of B vitamins.
On the side of the information on the side of the can for Spike, it's literally 50,000 times your daily intake requirements for vitamin B12.
Jesus. Yeah. Drink one with every meal, kids. Oh my God.
Yeah, I was something of an energy
Brondo. It has electrolytes. What plants crave?
It's what plants. I don't know.
Oh man.
Who's interrupting me while I'm baiting? Oh.
Yeah, I was biting. I was watching Ouch My Balls. This guy interrupted me. He broke my apartment.
It's such a good movie.
Water? You mean that stuff from the toilet? Oh, man. Oh, that's good shit.
Yeah. So that's
Vice President, not sure.
That's the struggle today, kids. Apparently, we're gonna go out on some movie quotes this week.
Idiocracy, we're there, everyone. We're there. We've arrived.
We have arrived.
Thank God, we're finally living a Judge movie.
This is definitely not an observation that has not been made previously. Oh,
not at all. Not at all.
Thank you for listening all the way, Podzeners. I apologize for my rambles, but thank you to Mr. Danger over here for kind of ringing it in before we got off the rails again doing the quotes. So I guess we're even.
Yeah, that one was free.
Next week, I don't know if we've decided on official day that these get posted because we're still working out the workflow, but sometime between next Tuesday and Thursday, every Tuesday, between Tuesday and Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those 3 days is when these get posted. So keep checking back. Yeah. In the middle of the week sometime, because we record it at the beginning of the week.
At some point between Monday and Sunday, it will be posted.
Well, the first one was kind of odd because it was the first one, but I feel like AB and I are reining it in a little bit. So, yeah, sometime around Monday through Thursday, or Tuesday through Thursday. See what you got me doing?
Jeez, just keep it tight, just tighten up there.
Tighten it up.
Get all your shit and just put it in one place,
Yeah. So come back, listen for more Podzeen and stuff. And this is the tour thing. And this is Frankie T and Danger Remington Meebon signing off for episode number 3. Hopefully one of these times we're going to be like Joe Rogan and it's going to be like episode 5,000. But until that point.
And please welcome to the stage, Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
We need to get Buzz Aldrin on some sort of astronaut or cosmonaut or
fuck yeah.
a space cadet of sorts.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.